Well, ladies and gentlemen, Blaine McGuigan Cyclone Promotions are proud to bring you 4 3-minute rounds and international welterweight contest. Timekeeper Mr. Jim Kirkwood, referee in charge Mr. John Maguire. Introducing in the red corner, wearing the black shorts with gold, on the scales at 10 stone, 6 pounds 9 ounces. Vastly experienced boxer coming to the ring in his 42nd professional contest. From Nicaragua, Miguel Aguilar. And in the blue corner, wearing the gunmetal grey with black and silver trim. On the scales, 10 stone, 8 pounds 6 ounces. An unblemished record, 2 wins from 2 contests, 1 win inside the distance. From Glasgow, Scotland, the undefeated Craig McIntyre.
Okay, gents, you know what's expected of you. Obey my commands at all times and protect yourselves at all times. Touch gloves. Best of luck. Right you go.
So McIntyre has mentioned 2 fights, 2 wins, 1 stoppage in that. Turned pro on March the 26th this year, won all 4 rounds against William Warburton. And then on June the 11th, he faced Daniel Mickleborough in Glasgow again. Mickleborough was making his debut. A couple of opponents pulled out before that fight. They got him late on. Mickleborough not really knowing anything about him. It was a pretty heavy knockout from what I've been told. They've offered people fights since then, and nobody seems particularly keen to go all that near Craig McIntyre at this stage. He's a full-time fighter, has got sponsors on board, which is absolutely crucial at that stage of a fighter's development, really. To be able to dedicate yourself full-time is such an advantage. But Aguilar, as mentioned, has been the distance with some good operators, and hopefully will provide McIntyre with a good test.
McIntyre's just got to settle down here behind his jab, Andy. He's in against an awkward opponent. His head's all over the place. Here, but working well with the jab. That's nice there, that straight right hand. And McIntyre, obviously very explosive. Wants to look good. Wants to impress on home soil.
Aguilar just bending those knees, dipping low. McIntyre looking to try and tee up that right hand, but chopping down with it, he missed. Gets back on the jab, or at least tries to.
Good right hand again there, nice 1-2 from McIntyre. Aguilar struggling a little bit with the straight shots from his opponent. But again, head movement's probably crucial from Aguilar, so he can just avoid shots. That's what he's got to try and do here early on. McIntyre's dangerous and explosive in this first round.
Looking for that right hand again, just looking for it. Maybe a bit too much that time. Jab catches Aguilar high on the forehead. It's compact Aguilar so far. Looking to land a big left hook. It wasn't that far away from the target, and aimed another one there as well, but McIntyre just managing to lay back and avoid it.
But that's what he's probably got to do here, Aguilar. He's got to move his head a little bit more, Andy, and probably concentrate on getting up close and trying to land that left hook. But by doing that, he's got to come forward and move his head more to avoid the shots from McIntyre, who seems to be the faster puncher at this stage. But Aguilar, with the head movement, could be dangerous with that left hook.
That was a good left hand landed by McIntyre just before Aguilar let one go himself, but McIntyre took it on the gloves. Bell goes at the end of the first. McIntyre takes a stroll back to the corner.
Just keep trying to time it, just keep he's throwing lazy shots, he's missing all the time, step back, just keep moving right. You start backing up, start having a left hand on the body, start testing his body. Right, if that's nice, good shots in the head, that's touch his body, let's test him. Right, otherwise, one guy, nice, close, keep switching up. Going to the right, perfect. Right, pick one. On side, right, perfect.
And the arena filling up nicely. Main event later on, of course, Josh Taylor against Dave Ryan for that Commonwealth title, which should be a terrific fight. Ryan had it, of course, and then lost it against John Wayne Hibbard, a fight I think it's fair to say he never would have lost if he hadn't injured his back in the mid to late rounds. He was well ahead on my card, and I think on most people's, and he's been out of action since then, so it's been quite a long layoff for him. Taylor, meanwhile, has been moving quickly. Craig McIntyre, here we have over 4 rounds at welterweight against Miguel Aguilar. McIntyre in the silver. Right hand there from Aguilar. Got through.
That was a terrific shot from Aguilar there, mainly because McIntyre threw a slow jab. So Aguilar was waiting for it, it fell short, and he comes back with a right-hand counter. Terrific counter punch there, that right hand from Aguilar. So that just reminds McIntyre that jab of his has got to be faster, it's got to be more accurate, it's got to hit the target. I think also a shot he should be concentrating on, McIntyre, from the right uppercut after that jab. As his opponent comes forward like that, you see, you bring him onto that right uppercut. But Aguilar, yeah, he's fairly dangerous, this fella.
Left to the body there from Aguilar, and then just use the elbow to push McIntyre away.
Aguilar actually starting, Andy, to counter punch on the front foot as he's coming forward. He's looking to avoid that jab, just that right on cue, just as he's going forward there. Just slips to his left, and that's when he can come back with his counters. So, like I say, McIntyre has got to hit the target and be accurate with that jab.
And on that note, you just get the feeling, don't you, in this second round so far, that he's seen what McIntyre's got to offer Aguilar, and he just fancies this a bit more. Long right hand, did land. Nice double jab there, though, from McIntyre, followed by the right hand himself.
That's better work there from McIntyre, but it's that, then he ends with a sloppy jab. So the jab misses the target, and then Aguilar comes into it because he closes that gap down. So he'll never land the left hook from distance like that. That's why he's got to get up closer. He's got to move the head as he's going forward. And he knows as he's going forward, edging closer, if he can just avoid the jab, he's got a better chance then of landing these single shots. Again, that's not a bad attack at all there from Aguilar. He's had a decent round here.
He has, as he came forward through the left hand, followed by the right, and McIntyre just retreating to the neutral corner, caught both of them. Maybe goes back in straight lines a bit as Aguilar is on the front foot, McIntyre. Just a little look from Aguilar at McIntyre at the end of that round. I do think that he's warming into this one, that he feels maybe he could get something done here.
Some decent work from Aguilar in this round. That was a super shot. Made his opponent miss with that left jab, and then comes back with the counter. And then coming forward with a straight right-hand attack there. Decent round for this fella.
His last fight was a draw over 6. That was against Alejandro Suarez of Spain at the end of September. He was stopped in the 7th of 8 rounds by Chris Jenkins. Jenkins, good fighter. Drew then lost to Tyrone Nurse for the British super lightweight title. That was back in May 2014. Wow, Scottish boxing royalty. Ken Buchanan, the Tartan Tornado, and Barry McGuigan has been on record as saying that Josh Taylor, he feels, could be the greatest Scottish boxer since Ken Buchanan. You look at some of the wins he had, he was always on the road fighting for world titles. I don't think he ever fought for one at home, winning away in Puerto Rico against Panamanian Ismael Laguna, one of the most underrated away wins in British boxing history. Roaring heat, midday heat in South America. He went there and he got the job done.
Undisputed champion as well, wasn't he? Ken Buchanan, in those days, that says it all.
He lost his title to what he will say and will insist to his dying day was a low blow from Roberto Duran. McIntyre just turning his man on the ropes over to the far side of the ring.
McIntyre just losing a bit of concentration here now. He got caught with a couple of shots as the opponent's coming forward, who seems to be getting more and more confident coming forward. You've got to concentrate more on those straight shots and occasionally bring that right uppercut through. That's what McIntyre's got to do. But now and again, you see Aguilar just counter-attacking, beating his opponent to the punch with that straight right hand, especially as he's coming forward. It's a dangerous boxer, this fella.
They're just short little shots, aren't they? They're not travelling far, but he knows that McIntyre's coming onto them. He didn't quite get that one away that time, Aguilar, the right hand. It was just smothered a bit as McIntyre was coming forward. Leads with the right hand there. McIntyre, it landed, but it's a bit risky.
Better judgment to distance there from McIntyre, because it's a risk when you're waiting for long periods before you punch or your opponent punches, but he's actually caught his opponent coming in. Especially with the backhand, that was good boxing there from McIntyre. He needs to keep his distance, so when they're up close like this, you just sense that Aguilar, he's in with a shout, isn't he? Dangerous.
Left hand just clipped McIntyre high on the head as well. He's not looked bothered by any of these punches in the slightest, the 21-year-old Glaswegian, but it can make it, could make it a bit interesting on the scorecard, possibly. Good left hand there from McIntyre.
McIntyre now just opting to counter punch on the back foot, waiting for his opponent to come into range. Getting to grips with this style now in front of him. And his accuracy's improved a little bit here, McIntyre, and it needed to.
This is a tough guy to have for your third professional fight. And he's always just inching forward, Aguilar, putting him under pressure, crowding him a bit with that front foot. Oh, bell goes, and this is an interesting fight. And again, a good fight for a prospect.
Miguel Aguilar, eh? Keep swiping shots.
Better round there from McIntyre, I thought. Lovely right hand, he brought his opponent onto that one. And again there, just gets caught with a sweeping left hook. There was a nice right hand before that went in. He boxes better at distance and he improved his accuracy in that round, did McIntyre.
That's me one of the best shots. That's me one of the best shots. That's me one of the best shots. All right? Let's see it. Let's do it.
Well, a young Scottish fighter there, a really good young Scottish fighter too, Charlie Flynn, who we saw have such success in the Commonwealth Games a couple of years ago, turned over as a professional now, making inroads. I'll tell you, there's some people here tonight, aren't there? You look around at ringside and there's boxers everywhere.
It's good to see, isn't it? The sport seems to be very popular here in Edinburgh. Tell Ken Buchanan to come out, well, that's something else.
McIntyre just going to the body with the left hand and then looking for the head, but Aguilar just dipped his knees and got underneath that one. This is the fourth and final round. McIntyre in the grey, Aguilar in the black.
I think he's eventually got to grips with this opponent, and he has McIntyre hitting the target better. This is where we've got to watch it when he's up close. As he said, that he's boxing better at range, is McIntyre. Probably doesn't need to be there so close to his opponent.
Big smearing left hand again there from Aguilar, just short. McIntyre with a lazy jab, and he was made to pay for it. The left hand popped back there from Aguilar.
Just a lapse in concentration there from McIntyre. He's taking things for granted. He's been boxing better to the stage, but he just a lapse in concentration, and Aguilar comes back with a couple of good shots. Again, Andy, that was a lovely shot, and again, it's a good opponent to learn from. Someone who's fairly dangerous. Oh, that was a lovely left hook there from Aguilar.
Just before it, a good right hand, as you were describing, from McIntyre. Good crunching shot as Aguilar was on the way in. It really stopped him in his tracks, but Aguilar is a good operator. He knows his way around the ring. He's got a good variety of punches too, and again, I'm sure we'll see him again in British rings. He's no stranger to British rings. He's been over here a good few times. Solid right to the body there from McIntyre.
Just occasionally holds his feet a little bit too long, as McIntyre lands some good work, but then holds his feet and just gets caught with the odd counter. Got to move those feet in and out a little bit more. He's got to measure the distance better with that jab. Shouldn't be getting caught at range against this type of opponent like that. He should be measuring a little bit better with his jab. But nevertheless, there's a lot to work with here in McIntyre.
Just bringing up the left hand there, Aguilar, into the final few seconds of what has been another good fight. Good 4-round fight, this. Aguilar just banging away to the body as the bell goes, and that was a good contest. McIntyre in just his 3rd professional fight is in with a tough fighter with some ability there as well, so that will, I think, teach him a lot. He should learn a lot from that. He's been saying that they've been struggling to get fights. Look around other Scots he could fight down the line, the likes of Lewis Benson, Gary Murray, Sam Ball. He did say he'd take a fight with Conor Benn tomorrow. We saw him at the Hydro in Glasgow at the end of May fighting Luke Keller, which Ben admits was not a good performance and feels that he's living off the father's name a bit. It's a criticism Ben is always going to get, but Conor Benn is not a man racked by self-doubt either. When I last spoke to him, he was looking to be a world champion by the end of next year. Tony Sims is looking more at an English title, but it's good to see young fighters with ambition, in a hurry, who want to progress. Okay, so let's get the official announcement for this one from our MC, Craig Stephen.
Ladies and gentlemen, we go to referee score totals, 40 points to 37 in favour of the winner, still undefeated, from Glasgow, Craig McIntyre. And please, ladies and gentlemen, your appreciation from Nicaragua, Miguel Aguilar.